I think we can start.
Yeah, okay. Fine. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tess. Is this audible enough?
Yes.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Tess. Tess Miriam, branch manager of Ed-Hoc International Kottayam, and ICF certified Irish course graduate. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to this exciting webinar on PR in Ireland through higher education, especially in fields like IT, Pharma, Finance, organized by Ed-Hoc International, one of the leading Ireland-based overseas educational consultancy. And today we are privileged to have two outstanding speakers with us, Dr. Santhosh Mathew, sir, our regional head India, who brings over 30 years of experience in education as an academician and a researcher, and Serena, one of our previous students, successful students from January 2024 intake, currently pursuing her MSc in Cloud Computing from National College of Ireland. And Dr. Santhosh will start by sharing key insights about Ireland and including the immense opportunities in Ireland, which Ireland offers to the students from IT, finance, and pharma fields. And he will also explain how the higher education in Ireland can lead to permanent residency in PR. Then following that, Serena will share her inspiring journey, how she came to Ireland, her academic and professional experiences, and some valuable tips for the future students. And at the end of the session, we will definitely have a Q&A segment where you can ask your doubts and clear your doubts by asking questions, so by typing them in the chat box. And I thank each of you for joining this webinar and making this webinar possible. A warm welcome to all of you once again. And now, without further delay, let me hand over the session to Dr. Santhosh Mathew, sir. And over to you, sir.
Good evening, and welcome to all the enthusiastic participants who have joined. And people seem to be joining also. Okay, so I'm glad that you have so much of interest and enthusiasm regarding the higher education in Ireland and the permanent residency in Ireland. And we are very happy to share about the various possibilities, the various higher study options, various PR possibilities. And also, as Tess pointed out, one of our 2024 students who went to Ireland, Serena, she will share her journey and the experience, the accommodation, the travel, the part-time job, how to get it, and then how to get a job after the course, the process, and PR and things like that. So without much delay, let me start the presentation. I'll share a PowerPoint slide and I'll discuss. So I know that so many students are very much. Let me just share the screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I know that so many students are very keen on higher studies abroad, and they look at various options, various countries. And US is a place which many people look at. But nowadays, because of the exorbitant cost, any course, any masters that you would like to study there, the normal fees amounts to maybe 40 lakhs or 50 lakhs per year. And nowadays, the scholarships are less, except unless you have a very high GRE scores. And fees sometimes beyond that as well. And also the immigration is not an immigration-friendly country. So you would have heard about the H-1B visa and then the lottery system. And then many of the students who go there nowadays are struggling, and because of the global economic crisis as well. And many of them are finding it difficult to get jobs. Some are coming back. And so other countries like Australia is also expensive, though there isn't that much of a problem as you have in US. But it's also 30 lakhs or 40 lakhs per year fees. And in all these countries that I just mentioned, and the master's is for 2 years. So you have to, when I talk about the fees, you have to pay the fees for 2 years. So if it's a 40 lakhs, 40 plus 40, 80 lakhs is the fees that you need to pay. And the living costs and other accommodation expenses and things like that. Canada was another option, but nowadays, the problems in Canada. And so people are not opting Canada as well, though it was an immigration-friendly country, but there are a number of other problems because of which students are not that keen on moving to Canada. Then when you look at other possibilities and other options, Ireland is a country which is not explored as much as the other countries which I just mentioned earlier. So that in Europe, there are countries like Germany, France, and all that. So countries like these, which also are explored by the students. But in Europe, there are two countries which are English-speaking countries. So one is UK, and then UK also nowadays, because of the some problems, the The flow to UK has also reduced much. And another country in Europe where English is a language that you can use for whether it's a part-time job or a job or everywhere your studies, everywhere. English is the language. It's an English-speaking country, and for anything and everything you can use English. Though there is Irish, but I think even the people there speak English. So that is one major advantage of Ireland. So I'll talk about that later. But just at the outset, I just wanted to say why Ireland, and also the masters there in Ireland, in most of the universities and colleges, you have a one-year masters. That's a very attractive offer because you can complete your masters in 3 semesters. So they have divided this one-year masters into 3 semesters, where though it's going to be a tight packed, where you have to definitely you can't you have to concentrate and focus and complete your assignments and take your exams and things like that. But within 1 year you can finish, and also you need to pay the fees for 1 year only. So only 1 year fees is required. So after 1 year, you can you have the option to stay back for 2 years. So you can stay back for 2 years. And today I mentioned that we'll be discussing about Tess mentioned that we'll be discussing about IT, pharma, and finance opportunities. So why IT, pharma, and finance, and healthcare? So all these are critical skills. So the country has identified these as skills which are in shortage, and so they're termed as critical skills. And these skills, which are critical skills, so if you study your masters and if you're working in these fields, in these areas, after 2 years, you have an option to apply for PR or permanent residence. And so 2 years, if you have experience in this particular field, you can apply for PR and you can become a permanent resident. Okay. And also Ireland is a country which is home to many leading MNCs, more than 1,000 leading multinational companies, and the economy of Ireland is also vibrant. It's the world competitiveness of the economy in Ireland. It's ranked 4th in the world, 3rd in the Europe, and so it's a very vibrant, growing economy. And there are 40 plus finance companies thriving in Ireland, and 1,000 plus big IT companies are there in Ireland. Almost all the big 4 consulting companies, finance companies, and so many other companies and so many other major banks are there in Ireland. And also the IT companies, almost all the big IT companies, whether it's Google or Meta or SAP or Intel or whichever, IBM or Dell, Yahoo, Microsoft, all these companies have their European headquarters there in Ireland. Yeah, it is the presence of these companies give a lot of opportunities for the students who are studying there to get an employment, to work there in Ireland in the critical areas. And also there are a large number of pharma, medtech companies, hospitals, health research charities which are thriving in Ireland. Okay, so companies like Johnson & Johnson, Merck, Abbott, all these pharma companies are there. They are there. When I say they are there, they have their production units in Ireland. So again, when I said there are so many of the IT companies, so many finance companies, so many pharma companies having their presence in Ireland, their production units, their development centers in Ireland. So why is it that so many of these companies are coming to Ireland? So there's another reason for that. So the corporate tax in Ireland is relatively very low compared to almost all the other countries in the world. Even in India, so the MNCs and the global companies which are here in India, they have to pay a corporate tax of earlier it was 40%. Now in 2024 budget, Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister, has suggested that they want to reduce it to 35% corporate tax. And for the domestic companies, it's 30% corporate tax in India. In the US, it's around 25% or more than 20. In so many, almost all the other companies, it's either more than 20, 25, 30 or more. But here in Ireland, the corporate tax till 2024, it was 12.5%. Now it is only 15%. Okay, 15% corporate tax, because the corporate tax is less. Majority of the companies like this, they come to Ireland, they establish their head offices, their production units in Ireland, which by which a lot of employment opportunities are created. The medtech companies like Siemens, Braun, and all these Boston Scientific, Beckman Coulter, all these medtech companies also have their presence in Ireland. So because of which there are specialized medtech courses, medical technology, medical management related masters, which are customized for these companies as well. There are so many reputed hospitals as well as in Ireland. So which for the healthcare sector also, there are a lot of opportunities. So as I mentioned, Ireland is a tech and finance hub for Indian students. So I have already described that Ireland is a thriving hub for technology and finance. And it's a home to global giants like Meta, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and financial institutions like Bank of Ireland, AIB, KPMG, or all the other big four consulting companies as well. And it offers a dynamic study environment with strong focus on research and innovation. So the actual difference between the education method here in India and in Ireland, I think Serena will be the better person to talk about it because she's undergoing that education there. So I know that many times here students study for the sake of exams, but here in Ireland, the teachers who teach you, many of them are from the companies. They come from SAP or IBM or Google. They come to the college and then they take the sessions, and the students are given practical exposure. They're being equipped for employment in these major companies. And many of the colleges, they have a very good relationship and tie-up with these major companies, and even the syllabus is customized. Syllabus is developed considering the requirement in these companies. So that is why the students get a lot of opportunities while they study. They get opportunities for part-time jobs, sometimes internship, and then they get to meet many of the companies and the developers. They come to the campus, they have career events, and they get opportunities to interact, discuss, and all which will help them to get a job there. The government policies are also very much supportive for international students. I already mentioned that it's a welcoming, Ireland is a welcoming country. They have scarcity of talent, shortage of local resources, and hence the government is also welcoming international students. So the students come there, bright students when they come there. So that also is strengthening their economy, and the government is also supportive, and that's why this 2-year stay back, the critical skills pathway to permanent residency, and things like that. And the top courses in universities in IT, the in-demand courses are in the AI, machine learning, cybersecurity, cloud computing, data science, software engineering, and pure computer science, and all that. And now in this generative AI era, so there are specialized courses and programs which the colleges have developed. So using which studying these programs help the students get jobs in these cutting-edge areas. And the finance focus, the major areas: finance, accounting, economics, fintech is a major area. So many of the universities and the colleges there have developed master's programs, which are very much in these specific areas, which help you to get jobs in many of these companies that were mentioned earlier. And the leading institutions: Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin, Dublin City University, University of Limerick, University of Galway, TU Technological University Dublin, National College of Ireland, and there are many other institutions. I just mentioned a few universities and colleges, and many of these universities and colleges have high QS ranking. You might know that the highest QS ranked institution in India is IIT Mumbai with QS ranking of 150 or so, and then the next QS ranking is Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, which is a QS ranking of around 225. But Trinity College Dublin is the QS ranking is less than 100. So many of the universities here, institutions here, have a QS ranking which are less than 200, less than. So many of the institutions have a global ranking which is higher than some of our IITs, some of our NITs, and that's another opportunity. Many of the students don't get that much opportunity to get admission in good institutions here, but you have an option to go there and study in very good institutions with very good faculty members with industrial experience and focus on research. And so Ireland is also a global leader in pharma and healthcare. So Ireland has got a strong reputation in the pharmaceutical and healthcare sectors. And I already mentioned that majority of the pharma companies, the major pharma companies in the world, have their production units in Ireland. So because of which there are a lot of opportunities in the pharmaceutical sector. So the pharmacy students who are attending the seminar will know that the major two divisions are the pharmaceutical and the pharmacological areas, like pharmacology and pharmaceutical areas. So the pharmaceutical deals with the development of the drug, the production of the drug. And because there are so many of the production and development units there in Ireland, so there are a lot of opportunities in the pharmaceutical sector. And so to work in these factories and the work in these companies, they need people. And yeah, not much of opportunities in the pharmacology sector, but there are a lot of opportunities there in the pharmaceutical sector. And also, in the healthcare also, a lot of opportunities. There are customized, specialized healthcare-related healthcare management and specific healthcare programs, which have been designed by various colleges and universities in consultation with the government and with the requirement of the country. So I already mentioned about the tax incentives and the favorable business environment and the dynamic study environment with a strong focus on research and innovation. The students are encouraged to attend conferences, publish papers, and the government policies are also supportive for higher studies there. The top courses and universities in the pharma and health sector: So you have the Masters in Pharmaceutical Sciences, Masters in Drug Development, Masters in Pharmaceutical Biotechnology, Masters in Regulatory Affairs, Masters in Clinical Research, Public Health, Health Informatics, Healthcare Management. So in the pharmaceutical sector, mainly you have in the pharmaceutical area, you have in the regulatory affairs is another area. So you also have the pharma, the technology management area. So these are the various areas that you have opportunities for your masters there. Then the leading institutions again, Trinity College Dublin, University College Dublin, Dublin City University, University of Limerick, University College Cork, University of Galway, and many other universities and colleges are there in Ireland. So again, why choose Ireland? I've already mentioned English-speaking country, welcoming environment for international students. So the local people there, that also I think Serena will be able to throw more light into it. Very friendly people, welcoming environment, very good transport and living conditions, affordable education compared to other European countries, beautiful landscapes, and vibrant culture as well. So the admission intakes, the major intake was in September, the fall intake. So the next is in 2025 September. So January, you also have intake in various institutions. It's a spring intake. Very few institutions have the March intake. So now the next possibility for admissions is for the March and September 2025. I would also like to just mention about the pathway to permanent residency. So when the process for admission or the process for reaching Ireland as a student on your stamp 2 visa is first you need to get an offer letter from the college. You need to prepare your CV, your details. Then you need to apply with an SOP and reference letters and with other specific requirements which are insisted by each of the institution. You need to apply to the institution, and they will verify all the details that you have submitted. And then once you get, if you're found to be suitable, you get an offer letter. Once you get an offer letter, then you can apply for your visa. So unlike in many other countries here in Ireland, you don't have to go for a visa interview. So you just need to submit all the documents, and then the Irish embassy they will decide, and they will grant the visa. If you are a genuine case, and if you have the financial backing, and if all other documents are proper, you get your visa. So because there's only documentation, there are a lot of documents to be prepared meticulously, and that's where Ed-Hoc will be able to help you free of charge. We don't charge anything, so we'll help you with your college admission, with your visa processing, everything free of charge. Because we have direct MOU with many of these universities and colleges, and so we don't have to collect anything from the student. You just need to pay the fees to the college directly, and that's it. Okay, so once you pay the fees, get admission, and get your visa. So initially, your visa will be a 3-month visa, so using which you can reach Ireland, and then immediately after, as soon as you reach Ireland, you need to register with the Irish Naturalization and Immigration Service, INS, obtain your Irish residence permit, and then you also need to get your public services number, PPS number there in Ireland. So with that, you can get your stamp 2 visa, which is your student visa, which will help you to pursue your high studies in Ireland for the next. This visa will be valid for 1 year and 3 months or so, 1 year, 3 months or 4 months, till you complete your master's program and your graduation. Okay, so once you complete your graduation, then immediately you can move to stamp 1G. Okay, so in some cases, even without moving to stamp 1G, if you directly get a job and if the employer is willing to sponsor you, you can move to your work permit, which is stamp 1. Okay, so normal process is stamp 2 to stamp 1G, and then the stamp 1 is a permission to work or operate business in Ireland. So once this stamp 1 also, based on if you're getting a work in employment in a critical skill area, then you have a critical skills employment permit. You get the critical skills employment permit, which is CSEP, which is a faster path for in-demand skills. And after 21 months of working, you can apply for PR. So if it is not in a critical skills area, you get the general employment permit, and after 5 years, you can apply for PR. And if it is in a CSEP, after 21 months, you can apply for your PR, and then you get your permanent residency, which is stamp 4. So which is achieved through the continuous residence. 21 months in the case of a critical skills job, and 5 years in the case of a general employment permit. And so that's a wonderful opportunity that you have. You don't have all these lottery system and too much complicated, difficult process. It's a straightforward process. The student, they themselves can apply and move on from one stage to the other. And as I just mentioned, Ed-Hoc is your trusted partner. We give comprehensive support throughout your study journey, from application assistance to visa guidance. And not just visa guidance and application assistance. So once you reach Ireland, we have our head office. We have our office in Ireland. Our founders are in Ireland. So 3 students who went to Ireland experienced the difficulties. They started this company. So we give continued support with airport pickup and accommodation assistance there in Ireland. And so we also give you part-time job assistance. And so we are glad to be your guide to your successful study abroad and a peer journey in Ireland. Yeah, so now we'll listen to the experience of Serena. And after we listen to Serena, then we can take your questions when we can have a time of discussion as well. Okay, over to Serena.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for that detailed explanation, Santhosh sir, about the opportunities in Ireland. And thank you, everyone, for joining. And I'm really grateful to Ed-Hoc for organizing this webinar. So looking back, so it was through Ed-Hoc that I got this opportunity to study in Ireland. So I'm really grateful to you all, especially Santhosh sir, Tess and Liz, and the other members, especially at Ed-Hoc team. And I'm really glad for this opportunity. So first off, I'll start with my background. So I completed my engineering degree in Kerala. And after that, I worked at a company for 3 years as a backend developer. And we were developing cloud-based products, and there were the usage of many cloud services. So based on that, I decided to pursue a master's degree in some cloud-related course. And Ireland seemed to be a very suitable opportunity based on what we heard from Santhosh sir and many other reasons. So I reached out to Ed-Hoc team and did a little bit of research, and they helped a lot from the admission process to the visa granting process. So that's how my journey went. And after reaching here, so I'll start off with saying a little bit about Ireland. So Ireland is a really beautiful place, welcoming country with a vibrant culture, and the weather is really nice. So one thing I'd really highlight is the people here. So they are very welcoming, very friendly. And I'm staying at the house of an Irish lady who's also very sweet. She's an old lady. And the accommodation that I got is at a cheaper rate and so many facilities. And another thing that I would like to highlight is about the transportation opportunities. So the public transport especially is very cheap, and you get student leave cards, which you can use, and the commute is possible at a very lower rate. And yeah, generally the living expense and all of that, so you can manage, especially with part-time jobs. So about that, one thing that you can do for a part-time job or other job opportunities is networking with people very well. So that's how I got my first part-time job, which is at a wedding venue management company. So there I'm working as a software tester, and it's a remote work from home option and flexible hours. And another part-time job is during my third semester, where I'm working at my college as a lab assistant. So that process is CV, cover letter, and an interview. All right, now I'll go to the academic experience at NCI. So I'm doing my cloud computing, my third semester here, and right now working on my project. So it is a relatively less hectic semester. So in my first 2 semesters, we had lectures, projects, and the faculty, as mentioned earlier, there were people who had industrial experience. So they were working as associate faculty here. So they would give you a lot of information, not just information. You would have lab sessions where you work hands-on, and mostly it was AWS cloud resources, where you have a college account and you get exposed to using various cloud resources and working on projects with them, which is really fun. And we also have a really nice library system here, lots of online resources, and the teachers are helpful, and you get to network with so many people from the industries. And one thing I really want to mention here is the career fairs that happen at NCI and other colleges. So there, people from the industries, they come and they give you information on their employment opportunities, and if there are any openings, they give you sessions on that. And in addition to that, the college also conducts courses and gives you certifications on how to prepare a good resume or CV, or how to build up a good LinkedIn profile at any interviews. Generally for employment opportunities, the college, they are very helpful, and then they'll give you certifications on that. So one example that I would like to highlight here is I had attended a career fair at NCI, and one of the recruiters from a famous company, he came there and he said they're doing this new initiative and they want to employ few students. So based on that, I was able to apply for the job, and right now I'm taking the interview. So that's just one example of how attending these networking events in colleges, attending career fairs will give you lots of employment opportunities. All right, now I just want to talk about my full-time job, how I applied for that. So right now I'm in my third semester. So that's when you'll be a little more relatively free to work on your job application and interviewing skills and building up your resume and all of those things. So first off, start with, just after finishing a good course on building your LinkedIn, having a nice CV, building up your skills, language skills, all of that, you can apply for jobs. And when you apply, don't wait for a job that fits into all the skills that you have. What I'm trying to say is, if you feel like some of the skills match with the job descriptions, you have those skills, be confident, just apply. But one main thing that you can really note is, are you interested in what you're applying for? If you are, then you go good too. But if you're not interested, probably it's wise not to apply for that job. And just don't give up, keep applying. And that's what I did. You'll get so many opportunities, assessment tests and interviews, and finally you'll land up in a job. And one other thing that I want to highlight here is, just to balance between your part-time job and your course that you're doing in college. So here, normally they don't keep a track of your attendance. So you can get caught up in doing your part-time job and lose track of your studies. So that's one thing that you should never do. Be wise enough to balance both your part-time job and your studies. So attending lectures, that's very important. That will help you in preparing for the exam and learning what you're doing. So it wouldn't be just a brain or a rotten learning, but you would actually know what you're learning. So it's very important to attend the lectures, talk to teachers, talk to people, especially from those companies, interact with your students. So that would be a good pathway to learn well and in the end land up in a job and get settled in Ireland. Yeah, so I think I've covered pretty much from my end. Thank you. I'm willing to add anything if you'd like me to, or take up any questions or anything.
No, Serena, you mentioned about part-time job. So probably maybe can you also mention about the kind of the costs, the part-time, what's the kind of per hour salary that you get? What's the other the rental expenses? Sometimes in the city it might be more expensive, but in the outskirts it might be lesser. And also, so whether you have classes on all the days. So about those things also, if you can touch upon, that would be good.
So about the part-time job, so the minimum wage here is 12.5. So some companies are even willing to give you more. And so, for instance, one of my part-time job, it's 15 euros per hour, and the other one is 12.5 or 12.25 per hour. So the minimum is 12 or 12.5 per hour, and you will be able to work for as much as hours as you want within the criteria that the country specifies. But otherwise, you can work. So the key here is finding a job and balancing between work and your part-time job. Studies and your part-time job. So that's one thing. And regarding the accommodation, it's not very easy to get an accommodation, but like I said, exploring different opportunities. Is it Dublin or is it out of Dublin? Like I said, the commute is not that difficult. The public transport is really good. So for me, the rent is 200 euros per month, and I have a single room. But that might not be the case for everyone. So it depends. Some people like to share and share the expenses and like manage it well. So that's also possible. So I would say just explore, take use of the resources that are provided by Ed-Hoc and other facilities, and that would help you. And I'm sorry, is there something else that you wanted me to say, Santhosh?
No, there are a few questions. It would be great to know something about the living expenses in and around Dublin. So maybe in continuation. So see the Serena, I think, where are you living? Which place? How far is it from Dublin?
Yeah, I'm living in Dublin, Dublin 11.
No, Dublin 11. It's not in the city center. No,
it's not in the city center, but it's in the Dublin area. Yes.
Yeah. So I think to the city center, in one sense, it's a bit in the outskirts. So basically, what I understand from those who are living in Dublin, so if it is in the city, if it is so the costs, if it's a shared accommodation, the accommodation per head could be maybe even 500 euros, 600, 700, etc. But since Serena chose to live a little more away and to take the commutation by transport, by the rail or bus, then for her it has come down to 200, or that's rare. You don't get for 200, you don't get there in Ireland. But I think she's fortunate to get it was God's providence that she got something like that. And part-time, you can work 20 hours part-time. And so she mentioned that the minimum salary for part-time is per hour 12.75 euros now. And she's for one job, you are getting 15 euros, right? 15
Yes,
euros.
that's right.
And for the other,
0.5.
yeah, 2.5. Okay. So I think if you calculate 20 hours, so in her case, I think she's getting more than more than her expense. I think she can save some money. But for others, I think definitely, and if you're working 20 hours part-time, you'll be able to manage your expenses. The living expenses can be managed with part-time jobs. Yeah, there is another question about, so these questions, we can take the general questions as well about 2 years stay back. Do we get 2 years stay back when we have back papers? So I think the stay back is not dependent on your back papers. Back papers are, for getting an admission. So for getting an offer letter, and some colleges have some regulations. You should not have so many back papers and things like that. So once you get your admission for a master's level 9 master's program in Ireland, automatically once you study there, are you asking whether while studying there, if you get a back paper? So if the question is that, you have to clear and graduate for a 2-year stay back. Yes, we can take other questions as well. Definitely, we can take other questions as well, and whatever we know, we are glad to answer. Is an MSc Medical Device Technology and Business a good career path? So again, the decision on your career path depends on what you studied earlier. So I think you'll need to get in touch with us. You can contact Tess or one of and reach out to us. So our contact details and contact number, we can share. So maybe I can just share the slide as well. So our contact details are here. But in general, the medical devices technology is good. There are specific institutions, for example, University of Galway, and because in that Galway area, there are a lot of medical devices companies, and that course many times when you complete the course, so these companies need people who are trained in that area. So if you have a good background, definitely it has got a very good career scope.
Yeah, so I have received a question about my part-time job. So if you can answer that. So the question is, as you mentioned, you have worked part-time as a software developer. So how you actually managed to get it as it's skilled labor? Was your profile or experience in India that helped? So it's a software tester job. So tester job. It's not directly a technical job. Basically, it's kind of like an end user testing. But definitely my skills did help there. And how I got it was through a networking opportunity. So that's how I got the job. I hope that answers your question. There's one more question about, would like to know about critical skill visa. Do we have to sponsor ourselves after getting a job, or is it allowed to use the stay back at 1G? Would you like to take that question, Santhosh?
Whether the critical skills visa. So you can, as a student, once you complete your graduation, you can directly apply. As a student, you can just go to their portal and apply for the 1G. Okay, so that is straightforward. Once you have the 1G, then you can keep applying. And if you're getting a job in the critical skills area and the company is willing to sponsor you, so then definitely the visa that you get will be a critical skills visa. And then it's a company, once you have the sponsorship letter and the offer letter from the company, you can apply and get the critical skills visa. Is that clear?
Yes, I think I can add on to that. There is also a possibility to do a self-sponsorship as well in critical skills. That is also possible after like working in 1G for 1 year. That is also possible. But staying back in 1G for longer, maximum would be 2 years. Staying back after that wouldn't be possible. Okay, I've received questions about average monthly expenses, how to get an accommodation. So all of these, it depends on you, how you spend and all of that. But generally, I would say the rent would cost the most part of it. After that, you can, for a month, if the rent, separating the rent, you can live within 100 euros per month. That is possible. And there are grocery and stores like Lidl and Aldi where things are really cheap compared to other stores. You get groceries and all of that. And like I said, the transport is bare minimum if you have a student leave card. So I think that answered. So accommodation, Ed-Hoc has also provided various forums and channels to get accommodation. Other than that, networking with people here, looking out for other forums, social media, all of that would help. Yes, and one thing to make sure is check for valid forums so that it's not a scam, and also go and see the place before you want to actually stay there. So yeah, I think. Yeah,
so there are
question.
Also questions, what is criteria for getting critical visa? So there is a list of critical occupations which is published by the Irish government. You can just search and get that list. So major all these areas is just I mentioned in engineering also. So I did not mention engineering. So engineering, whether it's civil engineering or mechanical engineering or electrical engineering, even these are under critical skills. And in addition to that, the IT, pharma, the finance, and health sector in general, all these are fall under the critical skills. There are some specific jobs also which fall under critical skills. So for all these, you can look at that critical occupations list and identify. And if your job is in that area, obviously you get the sponsorship in that area. Then there are questions. Is there other questions to you, Serena? You can answer. You can read out.
Yeah. So one question was if they ask for our bank balance during the application. I've not heard of that. So, and another question: is it easy to get critical skill job if you have experience? So, I'm sorry, that's one thing that I didn't touch upon. So the job search can be broadly divided into two. One is for those who are experienced, two for those who are graduates. So for graduates, there are actually graduate roles which open up every year. So that is a really nice opportunity to get that. And for most of these roles, they would give you a direct sponsorship in critical skills. That is stamp 2 to direct stamp 1. And another thing, if you have experience,
just throw some more light on the graduate roles. I've heard that the electricity supply board there in Ireland, they have
yes.
then
So
what are the other?
sure. Yeah. So the electricity supply board provides these graduate roles in fields like IT, finance, marketing, and so mostly roles around operations or data analyst related jobs, fintech, all of those marketing, all of those fields. And similarly, there are other companies like Irish Rail, for instance. So that would be a public sector job. ESB is also a public sector job. Then health services, HSC. So HSC and ESB, Irish Rail, and some other banks, they would also offer you these graduate roles. Other than that, companies like Amazon, so they would also have graduate roles. So they open up every year. So it's a good opportunity. So people in finance, business, marketing, IT, so all of these fields to apply for them. Yeah, that's one thing. And if you have experience, there are experienced roles that open up. So for that, they would also offer you a direct critical skill sponsorship from stamp 2 to stamp 1. If not, you can also work on stamp 1G in a critical skill. So critical skills, as mentioned by Santhosh sir, there's a list of job roles. And if you fall under that, you can even sponsor yourself after 1 year, or the company would even sponsor you. So it's not that difficult to get a critical skills job, especially if you have experience. There's one more question. Scope for law student in Ireland. So that is something that I'm not fully aware of. So
Tess, would you like to answer that?
Yeah. In case of law graduates, there are programs in Ireland which offers programs in related to LLM. Okay, LLM related programs, and these programs are highly demanded in Ireland as the law when compared to other countries. Also, in case of Ireland too, it's also having much importance in that place. And there are programs which are in combination with the law and IT, information and technology. There are programs. These programs offered by the universities, which comes under the world ranking too. And these programs, after completing this program, 1 year master program, the student can practice there as a lawyer there, and can work related to work in fields which are connected and which are related to this law in business field too. I mean, in all other companies which also hire the lawyers to their institution. And there's a new program in Ireland offered by one of the universities there, and the program is specifically the program is for graduates of law, and the program includes it's a combination of IT and law. Where the main component or main element of this program is the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in finalizing any order, law and order. And so it's also one of the important and demanding program. They are having much importance and much scope there.
Which university is offering that?
It's University of Galway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there is another question on the scope for psychology. So in general, general courses in psychology may not have that much scope, but everything related to healthcare, therapy, these have a lot of scope. So for example, clinical psychology, or if something related to geriatrics, all these things will have you have opportunities. Maybe Tess, you can add on to that.
Okay, clinical psychology is also one of the demanding programs there, because it's a combination of this medical plus psychology, medical and health plus psychology. And these programs can be pursued by students from psychology background as well as those from medical or health background. And so there are a lot of opportunities for, especially in the medical field and the psychology field, for students who graduate from these courses there. And as it's from the category of medical and health, it's exactly in the critical category, and it's easier for those graduates to move on to the PR after completing this program and start working there.
And about the scope for business, I presume it's about, is it about starting a business there, or is it about doing the masters in business programs?
Hi, this is Basit here, and I asked about like starting a business only.
So are you in Ireland now?
No, not currently.
Okay, so definitely, Basit, I think there are a lot of scopes for starting a business in Ireland, and many of our students. So once they reach there, and then once they are on, once they're on stamp one, then you are eligible to start a business. So there are many students who have started Indian restaurants, Kerala restaurants there, and our own founders, they went there as students. Then they started this company, Ed-Hoc. So that's a company based in Ireland. So then, so after they started Ed-Hoc, there are a lot of students, more than 5,000 students have gone to Ireland and other countries. So these students need their job, they need, so then they started a company called Job-Hop, which caters to the students and other people who are there who are looking for a job. That's another company. So many of the students, students and other people who go to Ireland for high studies, they need vehicles. So they need good vehicles, cars. So they were finding it difficult. So they identified a need there in that sector. They started, importing cars from good cars with cheap rate from Japan and all. So there's another company, Car-Hawk. Many of them require a lot of help in tax and tax filing and processing and all that. There's another company called Tax-Hawk. There are so many companies which our own founders have started. So definitely, that's a definitely good scope and opportunities if you can identify the need, and if you are because the country is very friendly, and as I already mentioned at the beginning, the corporate tax is very low. So many who go there and who have a knack interest in business, they succeed in Ireland. Am I clear, Basit?
Yeah, thank you. Good to hear that like they have started this much companies.
Yeah.
That's like new info.
Yeah, and it's all successful companies, making.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
then, another question: do you help in arranging our stay and part-time job? Definitely. So I said, now we have so many students who are there. So we have a good network of students from who are staying there or working there. So we definitely help. We have WhatsApp groups. So once you get admission and your visa, we add you to that particular group, and you can connect, and you a lot of we also, our managers also let you know about whenever some openings come up, some vacancies come up for accommodation. They inform you. Yeah, definitely we help you there as well. Is it okay to trade in forex market while we are we are in student visa? I heard that we cannot raise forex market while we are student visa. I think while on a student visa, you're not supposed to do business and trading. Is there anything yes, or anyone else would like to add?
No, nothing. And I have a question from Edwin about engineering and its opportunities, especially in electronics, mechanical, and civil background.
Yes, Edwin, there are plenty of opportunities. If you have an electronics background, there are so many. I said even Intel is there, so there are so many companies where they require hardware plus software knowledge, SCORE combination. So if you're an electronics and communication graduate, you should identify which area you're going to specialize. There are so many areas. There are some specific programs which are for hardware related companies. We can discuss your specific interest, and we can try to match it with the specific program which are offered by various universities. You can please get in touch with us, get in touch with Tess, and we'll be able to discuss more all these engineering programs, because the most of the universities have custom developed master's programs, which once you study that, you have good opportunities for employment. Then could you explain the tax implications for international students transitioning from a student visa to an employment visa? You have anything to say, Serena?
Yeah, so while on stamp 2, the tax would be very minimal if you can show your allowances there while submitting in that form. But once you're actually working, the tax is dependent on how much you earn. So if it is below a certain limit, the tax would be a little more higher. But otherwise, it'll not be too high. So that's the information that I have.
Yeah,
But definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah, but definitely, that only applies for employees who are applying for roles at a higher level in the company.
Yeah, there's a question from Vignesh. which would you recommend, finance or accounting? I have received offers from both corporate finance and international accounting and analytics from University of Galway. I'm a bit confused. So the Vignesh, it all depends on your previous background, your experience. So once you complete your program, companies are, yes, definitely looking for experienced people. So if you have an experience in finance field, and your experience all through have been in finance, and definitely corporate finance would be a good option, which could open your pathway to the consulting companies and things like that. But if your exposure was in accounting, and if you have some exposure to IT as well, international accounting and analytics, definitely a good option. So I think we have to discuss this case by case, and then we'll be, you can talk to us. We'll be able to.
Just that add to that point, there are programs in Ireland offering exemptions for the professional accounting programs like ACCA, CAI, CPA, and also I normally recommend certain students to take or pursue a master's, which provide sufficient exemptions. That's really beneficial for their career too. So, what was the first course he got offer letter?
Yeah, he corporate finance.
That's from University of Galway.
Then the accounting and analytics. These are the
Okay.
two programs. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he's clear. He has messaged. Yeah. So Basit is asking what's the reason for delay in visa now. Maybe this can answer.
Actually, September intake is the major intake in case of Ireland, and during that September intake, there were a lot of visa officers and a lot of staff in visa office there at Embassy of Ireland. And after the completion of the September intake, the recent intake is Jan 25 intake, and as it is not a major intake, the number of staffs in embassy was reduced. So that was one of the reasons why the processing period was extended, or there's a delay in getting the visa decisions. So normally we recommend to move for your visa or file for your visa as early as possible. That's that will be more good, or otherwise we have to wait. And if the colleges or universities which offers these programs in Jan intake will not provide, they may provide extension for our offers, and if they will not provide this extension, then we have to move our course to, or defer our course from Jan intake to the next upcoming intake.
So glad that you have a lot of questions. Yes, Nehemiah, do you have any questions?
Yes, Uncle. Can I ask her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Uncle, and thanks Serena for the wonderful brief introduction about this. My question is actually I'm getting into the pharmaceutical industry here in India, in Bangalore. The thing is once after getting the exposure, should I can able to join in any other specific master degree here in Ireland, and then can I move into industry, or else directly can able to crack it? Is there any opportunity or possibilities for it? And moreover,
Yes.
I completed one more program and masters. Along with my masters, I completed one program with the US University, KGI. So, is there any possibilities for me to do once again a masters in specific, or else just my question?
Yeah, so Nehemiah, depending on your background, so what you've done, your experience, and which company you're working here. See, for example, I said a lot of pharma companies are there, a lot of scope for in the pharmaceutical area, and a lot of production units are there, and a lot of universities are offering specific job-oriented master's programs. So once the student completes this master's program, they are definitely ready to work in those companies. Okay. There's going to be a huge competition. So if you have some good experience in a very good pharmaceutical company in India, and if you are that highly skilled and wanted, and then once you apply, maybe after 3 years or 4 years, and if you have identified a niche area, and maybe you're doing some research, you publish some papers, and you are internationally recognized, and then you can apply directly for a job. There are a lot of companies which are directly recruiting. There are agencies which are recruiting. So either through an agency, many companies, many times they resort to these agencies because they don't want to. They want to ensure that the candidate is ready and they are screened before the companies get the candidate. So they hand over that responsibility to agencies. You can apply through the agency and get it. But that's considering the local resources available from the pool of students who are passing out from these universities, it's going to be tough. So the easier route is to identify a specific area in which you're interested, do the masters there. And if you have a good background and a good educational background, there are also possibilities to get a scholarship. Some universities, once you apply in advance, for example, there is a time There are scholarships which are offered by universities for good students. Sometimes even a full fee waiver is available. So government scholarships are possible. Some university scholarships are possible. So all that is possible only after you apply, get an offer letter. Then you need to apply for the scholarships. So that is also possible. So I think doing a 1-year master's is the easy route for an employment and permanent residency. I hope I'm clear.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I have a few questions. So is it okay if I? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
So one is how to get a part-time technical role, as I'm from the same domain, QA automation. So if possible, can you please give me some info about full-time QA and DevOps roles and pay range for one who's having 4 to 5 years of experience? So yeah, part-time technical role. One major thing is networking, and 2 is LinkedIn. So there are so many opportunities there. And another opportunity is in your 3rd semester, instead of doing your academic project, you can apply for internships and get an internship. And most of these internships, based on your performance, it'll be converted to a full-time role. So that is one option. So it would be available in QA as well. So generally, for 4 to 5 years of experience in QA, the starting would be like 60,000 or 65,000 euros per annum. So even in QA and DevOps roles. Okay, what kind of job are you mentioning for 15 euros per hour as part-time? So most of these technical roles, whereas software tester, QA, developer, DevOps support, so all of these, it would be 15, or it could even be 15 to 20, 24 euros per hour. So that's part-time. And another question, which Irish cities provide the most IT job opportunities? So, there's a common notion that most opportunities are in Dublin, but it's not the case. There are many in other cities, like Cork, for instance. There are so many IT centers there, big companies. So lots of opportunities there. Another city is Galway. So there also you have so many job opportunities. And recently, Waterford, which is a smaller city, it is opening up to IT sector. So there are many companies that are setting up their offices there. So that is another opportunity. So Cork, Galway, Waterford, and another city is Kildare. So these are some other cities other than Dublin where we have many IT job opportunities. Yeah, thanks.
There's an interesting question. Is there any compulsory attendance to attend semester exam? Yes, Leo, that's very interesting here in India. Every time you have to give your attendance. So if you have attendance shortage, you can't write the exam. And so whether you like it or not, you go and attend the class here. But there in Ireland, in many of the universities, they don't take attendance. So at least here in National College of Ireland, they don't have the attendance system. So if you're interested, you can go and attend. Otherwise, you don't have to attend. And without any attendance, also you can write the university exam. But the catch is, if you don't attend, it will become difficult, because see, what the teachers teach there is not just some theory that you can just mug up or learn from your home. So you have hands-on experience, and the teachers give you insights from their practical experience. So these things, once you listen and understand, you cannot get it from books also. So, and it is the same teachers who are teaching who are going to set up the questions. Okay. So it is not some like the university here who they are taking up some old questions and copying the questions. So you study the question bank and you get the answers. But there, it's based on what they have taught that they prepare the questions. So considering all that, though attendance is not mandatory, so attending the classes is important. And there are many students who have gone there. Because of this, they take advantage of this rule, and they focus on part-time jobs and in making money. Because they do this and that, and they ensure that they make additional income, and they don't attend the classes. So there are students who have failed, who are not able to graduate. So then finally, they could not accomplish the purpose for which they went there. Could you take a masterclass for LinkedIn networking, please? Yeah, definitely. We'll be glad to, Vignesh. So maybe you can take initiative. We'll be glad to.
I got a question from Zel. If I were to be an IT fresher with a 3-month internship, what are the chances for application at Trinity University College, Dublin?
Sorry, Tess, can you repeat it?
Okay. The question is from Cyril. If I were to be an IT fresher with a 3-month internship, what are the chances for application at Trinity and University of Dublin?
Yeah, definitely.
Actually,
Trinity and UCD are all institutions which are looking for good talent. Okay. So there is no hard and fast rule that they will not take any candidates without experience. But if your marks, what you've done, all are very much important. So if you have very good scores, if your CGPA is very good, if your internship is in a particular area, what your projects, the projects that you've done, and the SOP that you write, if you can really project that you have keen interest and aspiration, and you have skills which this Trinity or the team there, the faculty members there in some area, the papers that you published or something, where they see that this candidate is really good. So definitely they will offer you admission. So I think we can have a look at your profile. You can get in touch with us and we can suggest what is required.
I have a question here. So I have 6 months of experience as a DevOps trainee and also kind of a decent LinkedIn profile. So can I have a part-time job as it kind of aligns or similar to my experience, or is it a little hard as I have low experience? I'm going to pursue MSc Cybersecurity at NCI in upcoming intake, but my most focus is on DevOps or DevSecOps. So as you mentioned, you have 6 months of experience. So I would say it's not highly important that you get a part-time job in some skilled area. You can actually do another part-time job that doesn't align with your skills and focus on finishing your course and building up your skills otherwise through certifications. Because getting a part-time job, a skilled part-time job, is not easy. It would be only for people, in most cases, who have at least 3 or 4 years of experience. And MSc Cybersecurity at NCI is a really good course, and they have also most of the courses, or at least some of the courses, are common to all the cohorts. So who are taking cloud computing or cybersecurity or AI. So you would definitely have the opportunity to work on projects in DevSecOps, so focusing on security DevOps. So that way you'll be able to gain experience in that and end up getting internships or jobs in that field.
Yeah, Leo wants to enjoy life and also wants a good education. Which university is best? So business analyst, financial analyst, or data analytics. And also about spending money. What you have a lot of money to spend also, Leo? Or is all this you want it with less money? So anyway, so there are most of the universities, they're not insisting on the attendance. So that is not, attendance per se is not the most important thing. So enjoying life, it all depends on, for each one, enjoying life as a separate definition for each. So I don't know what you mean by enjoying a life. So definitely there is a lot of opportunity for good education in Ireland, and with freedom, you have opportunities to study. And also, so the thing is that unlike in India, so here 9 to 5, Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday, you need to go and attend the classes. So you're fully packed. You have no time to relax. But there in Ireland, you don't have classes from all the days. You have classes only maybe some institutions thrice a week or sometimes 4 days a week. So maybe from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then the classes are over. Some days you have online classes. Some, all it's flexible. So you have time, but you also need to make use of the time properly. So you have assignments and all that. So if you do it meticulously and sincerely, you need time for that. But definitely, in addition to that, you get time for your part-time. You get time for some relaxation as well. So a lot of institutions, like NCA, National College of Ireland, or Griffith College, all these are colleges. So where you have flexibility. There are other universities also, University of Galway and Limerick and all that. You have flexibilities. Many of the good universities also you have flexibilities. So it depends on where you get your admission. So you don't just look at the freedom. Look at the place where you don't select a university based on such factors. Select the university based on your talent, your aspirations, your interest, and what the university has to offer in terms of your building a career. Okay. Is it true that campus placements are common in Ireland? What are the main steps or routes to secure a good job in Ireland after completing studies? There are a lot of many career fairs that are happening. So that means all the universities, they have a career team there in the university. So where they are trying to equip the students, starting from building their CV to refining their LinkedIn profile. These are simple things. So many times the jobs are through LinkedIn. You have a good profile, the companies reach out to you through LinkedIn. And there are universities like Trinity and UCD where the companies come and recruit as well. So all these things happen there in Ireland. So I hope that's clear. What are the main steps or routes to secure a good job in Ireland after completing studies? So Serena has already mentioned about networking and building a good connections, having a good LinkedIn profile, equipping yourself in the area, building skills and expertise and experience. And then once you're ready with all this, then start applying. So applying to various companies and then keep applying. And when the company sees that your skill matches with their requirement, they will call you. Initially, you might have an assessment test. Then you might go to the next round. You will have an interview, and then you will go to the next round. and then you finally secure a job. Are there any other questions?
Yes. So there's one question: which are some part-time jobs which have good pay? So as I mentioned earlier, all of the skilled jobs pay really well, within the range of 15 to 25 per euro. Those would be in IT. In addition to that, there are other jobs, for an example, working in nursing homes or as a dental assistant. So these jobs also pay really well. And other than that, there are other jobs in restaurants, for example, McDonald's or Subway, and these places. So they're also they would pay well. So those are some part-time jobs that pay well. Other than that, you can also work in retail stores. So many opportunities. Yeah. So there is a question, and is MSc in cybersecurity in DBS worth, or is the university good for placements? So I think one of you might want to answer that.
Yeah, it all depends on whether you've got the admission there in MSc cybersecurity, and if you're going to go there. So if you've already got the admission, and if you're planning to study there, so whichever university or institution, ultimately it is the knowledge that you build, the skills that you have, and your profile, your CV, and then how you develop. Definitely, DBS has opportunities, but if you compare it with NCI is more focused on these ITI, these IT related programs, cybersecurity, cloud computing, AI, and things like that. So in that case, there is a little more for specific such cybersecurity, maybe NCI, if you're considering the colleges. So if it's the universities, definitely there are all these other universities like Dublin City, DCU, or UCD, University College Dublin, or Trinity. They have very good programs in cyber security. DBS has got more programs, good programs in management related, analytics related programs, which are valuable. Yeah. Finance related programs as well. So details of dependent visa after student visa. So we already just discussed about the once you graduate, you can move to 1G, or if you get a sponsorship, you can move to stamp 1. So if you are on stamp 1, then you are eligible to bring your dependent on 1G. Okay, so you can apply and you can bring your dependent on 1G. So that's the process. I hope that's clear. Any more questions? I think we are over 1.5 hours now. Thank you for your keen interest, for your keen questions. A lot of questions, a lot of enthusiasm and active participation. If you don't have any more questions, I think we can call it a day.
Yes, thank you all for joining and for being patient. Thank you, Santhosh sir and Tess.
And thank you, Serena, for your time. I know as a final student, I think I'm sure you're quite busy. Thank you for taking so much time with us, and Tess for coordinating this. And I hope others who have not asked any questions. Prithvi says it was a very useful session. So others also, you can give your feedback. We'll be happy to listen. I hope it was useful. The session was useful and helpful. If you have any suggestions also to improve sessions like this in future, you can mention that as well. Yes. Otherwise, we can we'll wind up.
Thank you so much, Abdul. Thanks for this wonderful session. It was really great. And
I've also shared my LinkedIn profile. People are asking for it, so I've shared it here for everyone. I hope it's visible.
Yes, Nehemiah, you were
exactly, especially for the LinkedIn profiles also. I'm somehow expert in LinkedIn, so I can able to help the people who want to, improve their LinkedIn profiles.
You're welcome. Yes, Tess, we can wind up.
Can we? Okay, fine. Okay, good evening, everyone. And as we conclude our webinar on the PR opportunities, PR talent through higher education in finance and IT and pharma fields. And I want to express my sincere gratitude to all of you. First and foremost, thank you to Dr. Santhosh Mathew sir for sharing your invaluable insights on the pathway to PR through higher studies in Ireland. And thank you so much, Serena. I'm really happy and glad to see how you grown there and how you being there nowadays. Really happy for you. And I also want to thank each of you for attending today, for your participation. And your participation shows your dedication, especially for pursuing higher education in Ireland. For those seriously considering your master course in the upcoming intake, you can directly contact us. We have direct tie-ups with the universities and colleges in Ireland. There are a lot of universities there which comes under the world ranking too, and we are here to assist you and help you. And thank you once again for being with us today, and we look forward for supporting you in your education journey further. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you all once again for joining today.
Thank you again. Thank you all. Yeah.